Yeah.
You're ready? You're feeling good?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
The big moment.
No dents.
Oh, I've gone all giggly again.
Right, so welcome back to another episode of Put the Phone Down. This time we're joined by the man himself, Joe Novella.
Joe Novella.
He's, basically I've known him for too many years. Way too many years. He's currently lives in Vienna, travels the world, films DJs all over the world. He's been everywhere. Yeah, any dream that you've got, this man's probably done it. So
Wow.
yeah, there you go. How's everything?
Yeah,
how's life in
good.
general?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
This is great. I think this is the second podcast that I've done, and this is the first very professional light setup here. Cameras everywhere. I don't know where to look. There's so many cameras. Camera there. Camera there. I think you'll probably get on this one too.
Yeah, of course.
So, but yeah, that was a great intro.
How was it?
Great to make me feel
Really big you up.
Yeah, but I'm excited about this.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
it's
No, it's like you say, it's different for us getting a guest on for the first time, making sure that everything's right, all the audio's correct, and make sure the intro is as good as it needs to be. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have you on.
Yeah.
We've got a few things that we want to go through, but we'll go that in a later date. But I just want to go through, like, obviously your story and where you are now, what you want to do in the future. But like, let's take it back from like when you was in law school, because I get this question so many times, like, who is this Jonah guy, and like, how do you know him? So it's kind of like just unraveling the story of that, to be honest. So like you, because I know the story, but obviously the listeners and the viewers don't.
Yeah.
So let's take it back to like when you was in university, like however old you were then. Did you ever think you would be at this position you are now?
It's really interesting because I grew up in Malta, lived there all my life, as you both know. That's where we met in 2011. So like you said, one too many years ago. And I mean, growing up, I always wanted to become a lawyer. That was like pretty much my only dream growing up. So looking back, like, no, not really. I didn't think it would end up taking this direction. But yeah, I was in law school in 2013 in Malta. And kind of on day one is when I realized I don't really want to become a lawyer. Yeah. It was kind of like the dream of becoming a lawyer, and the idea of it was way better in my head than when I actually got to the point of doing it. Yeah. And so then I was like, oh, like, what do I do now? So then I spent the first 3 years of law school just trying everything. Because I figured, okay, I have to find out what I like and what I'm good at and what I want to do if this isn't it, because I spent my entire life thinking that I was going to become a lawyer. Yeah. What do I do now? So then I spent the first 3 years trying literally everything, like every sport that you can think of, every hobby that existed. I tried playing every instrument out there. I tried to become a professional poker player. I tried all sorts of things, and either I just wasn't really into it, or I wasn't really into the idea of taking that any further. And then in 2016 is when I was watching a lot of YouTube videos at the time. Yeah. And that's when I was like, maybe I could make videos. And so I had a bunch of footage from this trip to Paris that I took with my cousin. And it was like really bad footage and photos, basically. Yeah. And then one day, because I had my exams coming up and I just like didn't want to study at all. So I was like, sounds like the best way to prepare for exams is to try to make videos. So then I spent 12 hours from 6:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. just in front of my laptop figuring out how to edit videos. I had no idea what I was doing. I had iMovie on my laptop for years, and I thought it was like an iTunes for movies where you could watch movies. Then I discovered it was an editing software. Yeah. And then I made my first video, and then that was...
It's interesting you say that, because it's like similar to my story of like when I was in civil engineering. Like you say, you normally do like your 9 to 5 job, and then it's them extra hours that you've got to put in to make the shift from like law to another like industry, for example. Yeah. But like this, it seems like a common thing that like people they do what they need to do during the day, and then from like in the night, which we also call night owls, you get your shit done. And if you want to make that of a transition to another industry, that's the effort you need to put in that I don't think people are willing to do these days. They always make excuses. But yeah, it's cool. Carry on. Sorry about
that. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good point, because for me, kind of my game plan throughout the first years of law school was figuring out how to stay in, how to like pass all my exams without going to all the classes and having as much time to do other things as possible.
Yeah.
Because to the outside world, it was a great excuse, because I was like, oh, this guy's in law school. Like, you know, I didn't have to do anything else. Like I wasn't required to like go get a job.
Yeah,
I didn't have that pressure, because I was like, oh, I'm a law student.
Yeah.
This is what I do. But then any hour that I had that I wasn't at school or studying or whatever, I was trying to figure out what to do next.
Of course, yeah.
So.
Well, it's like when you was making videos, it was kind of like inspired me to make one. Because I kept seeing the vlogs you was putting out. Because I think you made, I don't know how many videos you've made by this point. But then you was one of the main reasons why I ended up buying a camera. There was other factors to it, but like when I started vlogging like in Newcastle and stuff like that, the main reason was that is because you was doing it, and it was like, I don't know, it was just a fun thing to do at the time.
It's nice to have like hobbies with other people as well, though.
Yeah,
like with your friends.
Definitely.
It's a nice thing to do, because then obviously you guys have got so much in common anyway, but then you could go out and you could do stuff together and stuff like that, and it's like then you start building your passions together, which I think is such an important thing. Like in that network of friends, to have something like that is really important.
No, that's cool.
So,
yeah, that's kind of what it was for me in the first year. 2016 was like the first year of me making videos.
Yeah.
And that was like my only goal with it, was to document like fun trips that I took with my friends or alone, or to like document like fun things that I was doing with people.
Yeah.
And that was like my only intent with it for the first full year. I didn't really think it would, I don't know, I just didn't really think much about it. I just did it because it was fun. And because the process of like going through thinking about what to film and then filming it and then turning that into like a final video.
Yeah.
That was just so much fun. And then by the end of it, looking at something, even if it took 12 hours, and even if like the first video that I made wasn't that good, the fact that 12 hours later, there was something that I created.
No,
like that was just so much fun. Like the feeling I got from that was amazing. And that's why I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this. And then it was always about finding different things to make videos about.
Yeah.
And a lot of them happened to be around traveling, because that's what I was doing. And I was like, oh, this like makes sense, because in a few months, in a few years, in a long time from now, it's going to be so much fun like having this video to watch instead of going through like thousands of photos.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I can just have like a 5-10 minute video that documents my entire trip. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
So what was like the moment that kind of put you on that other path? Because I know the key moment that made you just, because like you say you was on the path to become a lawyer and then all of a sudden it was like a complete right angle turn into a different journey. What was that like moment? Like that key moment?
Yes, so it kind of happened in 2016 when I started putting the videos up on YouTube. I put them up on YouTube for two reasons. One, it was like an easy way to send the file to people to watch. I figured two, if I put it out on social media, like all my family and friends would know what I'm doing, and then I wouldn't have to answer like the same question like a million times. It's like, oh, where'd you do that trip? I was like, oh, you can watch it.
Just watch it, yeah.
And then, but what happened when I started putting them on YouTube, my friend at the time, Joey Ingram, who's a poker legend, poker podcast legend, who I was kind of friends with online at the time, he saw one of the videos and he was like, oh, I didn't know you made videos. And I was like, oh, I didn't know either until this very moment. And he goes, oh, that's like super cool. It's like, maybe we could do something together in the future. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I didn't really think much of it until later in 2016 when he was taking his content to, trying to expand his team and trying to like grow, because at the time he was doing everything himself. And he was like, hey, do you want to like try to work together? And I was like, well, I'm in school. I have to study for these exams. Sounds great to like add another thing to do that's not studying. So we started working together, and I was like helping him out with his content. He had like a club at the time that I helped manage with him. And that was kind of like when things started to take a different turn, because I was like, oh, wow, like this thing that was just my hobby now I can see like all these options that could come from it.
The doors open for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that was like the very first moment. And then 2017, like early on, I was 6 months away from graduating law school. And then Joey was going to Vegas for the summer for the World Series of Poker. And he said, hey, like, do you want to come with me? And, we'll just hang out. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll introduce you to a lot of people. It'll be a great opportunity for you. And I was like, sure, what are the dates? And then when he told me the dates, I was like, oh man, this is exactly during my law finals, like my very last exams to graduate.
Yeah.
And it took me 3 months to actually make a decision. But then I decided, I was like, this opportunity might not be here again in a year, in 2 years. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's here right now and I can say yes. So I decided to postpone I didn't really drop out. I suspended my studies for a year.
Is it still suspended, the studies? Or
no, technically a year later, I then officially dropped out. Right. But for like a full year, it was suspended. And I figured, I'll go to Vegas.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I had always wanted to go to Vegas. I'd never been there. And then I went, and then I just, never really looked back. And then kind of forgot I was even in school at that point, and just kept going from there.
Nice.
I'll be honest, at the time when Jake because Jake was the first person to tell me like kind of what you'd done, I thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
That was my first reaction. I was like, no way. He spent years, because I actually never knew that from day one of you studying, you were always like, I'm looking for something else. I actually never knew that. So when Jake first told me, I was like, that guy's crazy. Like, he's got 6 months left. What is he doing? But now, like, when I actually took time to think about it, I was like, you cannot miss opportunities like that in life, especially if you have a feeling that there's something else that you want to embark on other than what you're doing. You've just got to go for it, haven't you?
I think there was only a small group of people who was like, just fucking go for it. The rest of the people, and there are probably people that behind your back were saying, you're fucking crazy. Why are you giving this opportunity up to become a lawyer? But in the background, I just knew that, like, knowing what your personality is, and when you put your mind to something, like, if you go and move to China tomorrow, I know you'll end up doing well because you've got that mindset of not it's like what me and Meg go through, of like not getting in your comfort zone, like breaking out of that comfort zone and doing that and moving over to, staying over wherever it is you were staying. It's breaking out of that comfort zone all the time. So it's like, it's interesting. How did you feel when you had that, when you was like obviously in law school and you had the chance to move up to go over there? What were you feeling at the time? Like, were you nervous, or were you more just like, let's just fucking do it?
Yeah, go? I mean, like Meg said, the thought that I was crazy for being in law school 6 months away from graduating, and then deciding to just drop out. Like, you were not the only person to think I was crazy. I would say the majority of people thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy at some point too. I was like, it's like, maybe I'm just crazy because it's weird because I couldn't explain it. In my head, it made sense. Yeah. But I couldn't really explain it to people. So it was really hard for me to express what I was really feeling because I just couldn't put it into words because I didn't fully understand it myself. Yeah. And like Jake said, there was like a small group of people who are actually like, no, you're doing the right thing. You can actually do it. And small group, like less than 5 people probably, right? And something that Joey always told me at the time was, you can't take it too personal that people don't believe you or don't trust you or don't want to encourage you to do this because they don't know, right? Like, they don't know any better because they're just trying to, they have your best interest at heart, maybe not, but they don't know any better because they haven't done that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, you haven't done that either. And he said, until you have something to prove, a lot of people won't be in a spot where they can be like, oh yeah, go drop out of law school and go to Vegas for fun and travel the world trying to make videos for a living, because I had nothing to show for that. It was just an idea in my head, backed by a lot of like self-belief. And then obviously when I'm facing a lot of resistance from friends, family, like people around me, everyone just saying like, no, this is crazy, this is going to fail, it's not going to work out. It was obviously really, no matter how much self-belief I had and how much self-confidence I had, it was still very hard because you're just facing resistance every day. And then you start getting into your own head of, maybe they're right. Maybe this is going to fail. Maybe I'm going to, I'm going to want to come back and then it's going to be too late. And maybe this, maybe that. But at the end of the day, I kind of like weighed the pros and cons. And I figured, you know what, like, I can come back. I can always come back to school. Yeah. Like, law school is going to be there forever, probably. Exactly, yeah. I can always come back in a year, in 2 years. I can just come back and do it. But this one opportunity that I have right now may not be here again. Yeah. So I was, I was feeling.
Every time we try to...
We interrupt this program for some.
Every time we
time.
try to do something, he's in the other room.
No, it's all good. But yeah, I mean, it was obviously very hard, and that's why I said it took me 3 full months to actually make a decision.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was like I was very excited, because
a very exciting time for you.
Yeah, I was like, this is for 3 years. I've spent 3 years trying to find something that I really loved that I could do beyond law school.
Yeah.
And I said, now I kind of have the opportunity, so I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting, scary but exciting.
So like, let's fast forward. Like you're in Vegas. You've never been. I'm assuming you've never been to Vegas before.
No, it was
like,
the first
what
time.
was running through your head at this point? Like, because obviously all the opportunities kept coming to you. Like as you was going through this, like what was going through your head at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I had never been to Vegas, and when I was younger, I always wanted to go there because I was really into playing poker.
Yeah.
But then I kind of lost interest in that, and then I went, and it was like this. It was way better than I had ever imagined it to be. Joey did like a really good job at introducing me to a lot of cool people, people that now I call some of my best friends and really good friends, and people who have helped me out as well. And it was just this, it was so surreal.
Yeah.
It was just going there, and it's this like nonstop entertainment.
Yeah,
just at my fingertips every single day. And when I first got there, shout out to my boy Remco, he gave me 2 tips. He said, here are your first like Vegas experience tips. He said, number 1, he said, always be close to broke, but never go broke. He said, as long as you don't go broke, you're good. And he said, number 2, which is very important, he said, never say no.
Yeah.
He said, say yes to everything. And I literally took that very literal. And whenever people invited me to things, I always said yes.
Yeah.
No matter how crazy it was, how tired I was. If someone texted at 1 a.m. and said, hey, do you want to come here? I just said yes. Yeah. I just didn't say no.
Yeah.
And it was just this, I think I was there for a month and a half with Joey throughout the World Series of Poker. And it was just amazing. It was...
Yeah.
It was wild, but it was
good
fun.
to see from like our point of view as well, because like all the people who probably doubted you as well, and like I know I was one of the contributors of saying just go and do it.
You
so
were.
It was good to see like
You're one of the 5.
It was good to see on social media like yes, he's crushing
it really was, yeah.
And like I mean, hats off for you because a lot of people wouldn't have done it, 100%. And like a lot of people, you had a lot of stuff on the line, but I knew that. Like you said, that mindset that you have, soon as you get over there, you'll excel, and obviously that's been the case.
Yeah, I mean, it all came from just saying yes, literally just saying yes to everything. So when people said, "Hey, do you want to fly to New York to hang out?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." Yeah. If people said, "Hey, do you want to come to San Diego?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then these things kept coming up because I was being put in these environments where. Joey was introducing me to a lot of people. I became friends with my boy Richie B, king of Vegas.
He's like your Vegas twin, isn't he?
Yeah. He's the king. He's the king of Vegas for sure. And
we need to meet him.
Yeah, I think we need to plan a trip over there just because like we met Mark already. Yeah. Mark Eatson, he's a absolute legend.
Yeah.
As soon as the second I thought, I mean. Hopefully he feels the same way, but as soon as I met him, I thought, he's my type of guy.
Yeah.
And we were at an event just drinking.
Yeah.
By the end of it, everyone was sober. Me and Mike was like,
I'm glad you brought up Mark because actually, I don't know if you know, but it's actually a really funny story of how I met Mark.
Okay.
So I started hanging out with my friend Richard Blankenship, and who I had met in Miami during Ultra Music Week, during Ultra Miami. When I was there with Joey in March, and then he lives in Vegas. So then when I was back in Vegas, we had kind of stayed in touch. And then I said, "Oh, I'm here with Joey again. Like we're just hanging out this summer." And I started hanging out with him a lot. And the guy's the king of Vegas, and he loves to party.
Yeah,
and
you can tell.
no one parties as good and as hard as Richie B. And so he was inviting me to a lot of like these nights out at the club, and. Going back to Remco's theories, I always say yes. So
exactly.
Richie B calls to go to the club. I said, yeah, let's do it. So I started going out with him a lot, and it was always so much fun. And he was, he's the king of biz dev. So like he was introducing me to some of the most amazing people out there, and it was just super cool. And then one time I remember we were at this club called Jewel, and he said, he's like, this guy that I met like 2 days ago is DJing right now. His name's Mark Eatson. He's from the UK. He said, we should go like say hello. And at this point, it's probably like, I don't know, 3:30 in the morning. And we had been drinking a lot. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on at this point. I'm like, you want to go say hello to the DJ? I'll come say hello to the DJ with you, whatever. So we go over there and we're just like standing behind him. Mark's like doing his thing. He's DJing. I'd never met the guy before. And at one point, like, Rich just goes, like, interrupts him mid-playing, right? Mid-DJing. And he goes, I got to introduce you to my boy Jonah. He goes, he's a sick videographer. And he's about to film the dopest video for you right now. And I kind of heard this and I was like, wait, what? I'm going to do what? Mark kind of like looks at us like, who the hell are you guys? Yeah. And then just continues DJing. And then Rich goes, film this. Yeah. And I was like, dude, it's 4 a.m. I'm like kind of blacked out right now. I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I don't know, just do your thing. So I pull out my phone and I just start filming a bunch of things, right? And then fast forward 2 days later, like I said, we were drinking a lot. Yeah. So 2 days later, I wake up and I'm like going through my phone and I'm like, yo, Rich, I'm like, why do I have all this like random footage of this random DJ at the club? Yeah. I was like, who is this guy? Like, why do we have all this footage? And he goes, oh shit. He goes, we kind of promised him that you were going to make him a video. And I said that you were the man. And so you kind of have to do it now. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what the hell? I was like, this footage is like, isn't even that good. It's like, I'll just like whip something together and it'll be great. Oh my God. So then I was like, whatever. I just edited a video really quick. And he had another show coming up like a week later at the same club. So I figured, like if I frame it in a way of like it's a promo video for him playing, I was like, it'll kind of make sense. And I was like, the footage kind of sucks because it's like on an iPhone. I was like drunk. But I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do it. And then I made the video and then Rich sent it to him. Yeah. And then I remember Mark's response was like, wait, who are you guys? And where did this come from? And then Rich was like, we're the guys from the club last night. And then fast forward, like Mark's now like one of my closest friends, right? But like fast forward to when we tell the story to people, Mark's always like, from his perspective, he was like, these two random drunk guys come up to the DJ booth, interrupt me while I'm playing. One guy starts flashing his phone in my face. And then 2 days later, they sent me a sick video. And I was like, now we're like good friends. But that was like a funny.
What a way to make an impression.
Yeah, but like knowing Mark, I could just imagine what his reaction is. Because he's a funny guy. Like honestly, like I was just laughing every time he speaks and the way he speaks and the way he delivers stories and stuff. He's hilarious.
He's really a great storyteller and he's a great, he's probably one of the funniest people I know, I think. And probably like super sick producer and DJ as well.
Yeah, because like when I was speaking to him when I met him in Vienna, he's like an old school DJ. Like he learned on vinyl. Yeah. He learned the real way of doing it. Like these days, a lot of people, like you say, that everything's electronic, and a lot of the technology helps you do it. To be able to mix music on a vinyl I can imagine it being really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I was at his house in the UK, at his family's house a year or so ago, and he was showing me like this music room that his dad's a musician. A lot of his family members are actually musicians of sorts, and he was showing me this music room that he grew up like recording in and like producing in, and just I don't even know if producing is the right word at that time. Like I don't know what it was, but like this super sick music room. He spent a lot of time in there.
Wicked sick mixtape.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's how he started. Yeah, he was doing like mixtapes and shit. So that was great.
Yeah, because a lot of people that like back in the day, they used to like make CDs, didn't they, and sell them off. That's what I know. Like probably when I was in high school, I was on like the end of that wave. But everyone used to like rap and shit and put them onto CDs. So it's probably the same thing that he used to do when he was, but obviously more dance music related. Yeah. No, that's cool. So like, obviously I know some of the crazy stories and probably some stuff you can't discuss on the podcast.
Ever repeat to anyone ever.
But like, obviously, fast forward up till now. Obviously, like, what's your current situation at the moment? Because obviously, I know who you're currently working with. How did you meet Fedor, and how did you get to where you are now, type of thing?
Yeah, so right now what I do is I manage Fedor Holz, and I do content for him. So I still do some video and photos, but it's more management related.
Just quickly, who's Fedor Holz? So for the listeners.
So Fedor is a German poker player. He used to be the #1 poker player worldwide. He's sicko at the game. and he
he's
doesn't
a
play
really
as much.
down to earth guy as well.
Super cool guy. Doesn't really play that much poker anymore. He's more focused on building companies and bringing people together and creating a lot of cool environments for people to be able to follow their passion and just be successful in their own by their own definition of success.
I think it's important. Like for example, I've never met someone who's been as successful as him in my entire life, and you always have this persona that people like that are going to be arseholes, if you know what I mean.
Stuck up, yeah.
So I didn't know how. Obviously, because you're good friends with him, I knew he'd be like a certain guy, but I didn't realise how nice of a guy he would be. And then when you meet him, you just realise he's just a normal, real person. And we had like I felt like I really had a good connection with him. Hopefully the same on his end. it might be like this Jake's a complete wacko.
He said some great things about you, so that's all I can say.
I mean, so it's good. It's like refreshing for me to see that as well, and obviously that because I obviously care about you. That I know that you're in Vienna with you're surrounded by people who are like just nice people at the end of the day.
That's really
That's
sweet.
nice. It's so nice.
It's so sweet. Yeah,
no, but I mean, it's like, it's good. I mean, so go back. How did you meet Fedor then? What was how did you get?
Okay, so me and him have like weird stories about how we actually met. Okay. But here's how we actually met. So he kind of like blew up in poker around 2014, 2015. He won this big tournament online, and he was on Joey's podcast. Yeah. And that's kind of how I found out who he was at the time, because I was like starting to become friends with Joey at the time. And then I watched the podcast and I was like, this guy seems like really cool. And then we met in Malta. I was with this other poker player, Sean Deeb, and Fedor walks into the bar, and then Sean introduces me to him very briefly. And we chat for like a few minutes. Right. And Fedor forgets about this part, but it actually happened. But I hit him up on Twitter after that happened, and we kind of stayed in touch online for like a full year. Funny story is that in 2016, then when I started making videos, he was one of the first people that I sent my videos to. Because he gave really good feedback. Yeah. So I think he had like commented on one that I had posted on Facebook, and we stayed in touch on Facebook. And he sent me like feedback, like legit, like, hey, like I see you're doing this, like you seem to be really enjoying it. I was like, do you mind if I give you like feedback that I think would make your videos better? Yeah. And I was like, sure. I was like, oh yeah, by all means. Take it, yeah. So then I started like sending him all the videos, and then I mean the feedback at the time was like pretty straight up honest, and the videos did kind of suck. So he would, when it sucked, it sucked. When it was good, he said it was good, and that's kind of like how we became friends. He was my video critic at the time, right? Yeah. And then in 2017, when I was in Miami with Joey for Ultra, Fedor was also in Miami for Ultra, and we were kind of texting back and forth. And then one night he said, "Hey, I'm at this club. Do you want to come? You want to like come hang out?" And I said, "Sure." So I went over there, and that's kind of like how we then like actually became friends. Yeah. Because then when I was in Vegas with Joey for the summer, he was there the entire summer. So we like got to spend some time together. Yeah. And then that's kind of how like the relationship formed. And now we've been working together, I think I don't actually really know. Yeah. We've been working together for a while.
No, it's good. It looks like you've got like a really good bond with each other as well. Like although you work together, like you seem to be like really good friends as well, which is important. Yeah. No, actually, like the reason why I wanted to go through this story is because I get so many people asking me about it. Like, who is this Joe and where do you know him from? This is just, I can just watch the podcast.
Yeah, like you did with your travels, we can do it with you.
Exactly.
So it's like, no, it's good. Like, so like, what's your plans moving forward? Like, what's your the next step, or are you not? Are you just taking it day by day?
Yeah, I kind of just take it day by day.
Keep rolling, keep going.
Oh, put it on for a sec.
Yeah. I really enjoy. Now I lost my point. I'm just seeing Jake like mess with the camera.
Keep going.
Are you gonna restart it then?
No, it's fine.
Okay. I'll wait till you're back.
Yeah, we can cut.
Keep going because the way I'm gonna do it here is
that we're gonna 1, 2, 3. Wow. Have a quick water break.
Quick water break.
Quick water break.
No rest.
Quick water break. No dance, bro.
This is the problem when you've only got You've not got a camera crew.
Yeah.
The camera crew is actually on the podcast.
That's true.
We're making it work.
Yeah. We'll have a camera crew at some point for sure. But yeah, going back to what was
you were saying like the
plans for the future, right?
Forward, yeah.
Well, right now I like really enjoy working with Fedor. He's involved in a lot of different projects, so I get to be a part of that whole process. And I get to be a part of like different industries and different businesses that he started or that he's a part of. So I'm really involved in a fashion studio that he founded together with this super sick fashion designer, Jamel.
Really nice guys. Another great, like, because again, you think fashion designer, the way he like presents himself, you don't know how he's going to be. As soon as I saw him, was like the most welcoming person I've ever met.
Yeah.
So like, It's the one take that I've got from it is do not judge a book by its cover.
100%.
No,
because I've been proven wrong so many times. So now I'm just like, yeah, you always learn these things, don't you, as you go on in life. Yeah. It's good. But like, so for example, you've got the fashion lab stuff going forward.
Yeah.
Like, what's your direction you want to take that in? Because obviously that's like high-end tailor-made clothing and stuff.
Yeah, so the goal for that, it's called 360 Fashion Lab. As you know, you've been there. Meg is yet to come visit, hopefully soon. Yeah. So it's called 360 Fashion Lab, and the goal with that is to bring together designers, artists, like different creatives, and kind of have a space for them to collaborate.
Yeah.
So you actually saw it at its core meaning when we had the opening event, where we had, Revolui, who's like a super talented artist from Brazil. We had Jamel, who's like a fashion designer. We had, film people. We had video guys. We had, Justin Escalona was there. It was like a good blend of people who at the core of it just want to be creative. And then that was like the space where there was just like a lot of creativity going on.
Yeah, of course,
so that's what we want to do moving forward, but obviously it's still around fashion. So it's about, finding cool people to collaborate with on high-end, very unique, comfortable clothing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the direction
it's such a cool atmosphere. Like when we bought the flights for Vienna, and when me and Meg go over, which is hopefully soon, like you'll realise how much of a cool atmosphere it is. When you just walk in, it's just like
you can tell, like, because obviously I've seen the website and stuff, and you can just tell online it looks like a really cool place to be, and the brand itself is just unbelievable. It's so unique, so different. I'm looking forward to
just the place. Vienna itself is stunning.
Yeah, like, Vienna's beautiful.
It really is nice.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I landed there, I was like, literally never been to Vienna before. Like, there was just, you get to the airport, you expect loads of queues. There was nothing. I was like walking through the airport going, what the fuck is going on? Like, I got outside the airport. Jonah was like, download this app. I literally pressed this button. Within 2 seconds, a taxi just went, pulled up.
Literally 2 seconds.
seconds.
No, literally 2 seconds.
Yeah, literally.
So not
a jake 2 seconds, a literal 2 seconds. Got in this taxi, like, again, not knowing, having a clue where I am. Got to Jonah's place. We had like a meeting straight away as soon as we got there. With the like another app, you scan these little scooters, and I'm like flying through the streets of Vienna. Like, we literally have been there for 5 minutes, and I'm like driving through the streets.
What are they called? Them scooters?
Birds. The best ones.
The birds. Yeah. There's like loads of them. There's like 6 companies or something. Okay. But birds like probably like the most.
Because it was like a running joke when Mark was over, like, oh, there's a lovely set of birds over there.
Yeah, Mark was having a blast. With,
it was just like
birds.
It just almost like felt like I was a kid again, just like flying through the streets.
Yeah. Of
like a big group of us just like whizzing around and like looking back and seeing Mark, because he's a tall guy as well, and he was like dressed in like checkered pants and Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks t-shirt, and I'm like looking back thinking, this is just great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's been like my go-to tour for people who come visit. I'm like, let's get on the scooters and then let's just like go around, and it's always fun. When Rich was there, that's what we did. That plan failed when our friends Matt and Johnny came to visit, because I just assumed it's a scooter. I mean, it's like super easy to ride, until Matt was like, oh, I've never been on one of these. And I was like, oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny was like already off running away. And I was like, see, it's like super easy. And then Matt just goes on and he's like, he can't hold his balance. And I was like, oh no. So then he was like, man, I was like, I don't feel comfortable on the scooter. He's like, let's just like do something else. And I was like, oh, then I had to like actually think about what to do. And I was like, my tour plan kind of failed now.
Pre-warning, I will fall off anything that moves.
But no, it's fine.
Like, I'll try it, but
the
I won't
funniest
fall.
thing that I've witnessed with Meg when we was living in Malta.
Oh, I hate the story.
We was at Surfside and we're having a few drinks, and then wanted to go into Portugal afterwards. So I was like, we were like fixated on, I don't want to get a taxi because it's, for us, it's like round the corner, but for like Maltese people, it's like everyone gets a taxi there.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, we're drunk. I thought, let's just get on these rental bikes and just bike it there. So we're drunk by this point. We've had a skinful of ale. They're like biking down the path. And then I'm like looking back going, where the fuck is Meg? And she's literally like this, like everywhere.
And heels on as well.
I mean, the heels don't help.
Sure. Like we looked, there was like people on, because it's like the quite wide paths there, and there was like people looking. I was like, what the fuck are these guys doing? I'm drunk, being my usual self, going, go on, Meg, go on, like, just being a fucking idiot. And then, like, there's do you know like the bits where like the ramps go down to the sea, and then you've obviously got the path. So Meg was going that slow. Like, obviously, when you speed up in a bike...
You don't tell it properly.
Yeah, go on, do you tell it?
There was two people coming on the path, and I was like... Because I was drunk, my like perception of space wasn't as good. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to get past these guys on this bike. So I thought, instead of just braking, I just didn't think, and it was either I run into these guys or I go down this, like, ramp into the sea. So I just hit the wall in between.
So there's three options in Meg's mind: hit the people, hit the wall, or hit the sea.
Oh my god!
And I'm not kidding you. She was going that slow. She could have probably just stepped off the bike.
It was like slow motion. I just went. And just fell off.
I think your perception of speed was very off.
And as soon as she crashed, I just thought, oh, this is the night. The night's over with. And then obviously it was my fault for Meg crashing, and it was like, it was a fun night. But I don't even know where we got onto this conversation. But when we go into Vienna, you'll be fine because it's like you just stand there and just literally press the button.
To be honest, there's not a lot of scooters out and about right now because it's pretty cold, and I think I don't know what they do with them, but I think they just like put them inside because I just think most people don't use them anyways.
Yeah, that's
so there's only like a few random ones here and there. I haven't been on one in a while.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to try.
We'll have to find something just for you.
Sober.
Definitely do it sober. I think
that's like sober. Don't drink and drive, guys.
When you're over in Vienna, you do realise it's gonna be like a sales pitch.
Oh, I know.
Is he like, listen, guys, this is what because when I was there, this is where you could be doing this on a daily basis. Literally selling the fact to me.
I'm not ready for this.
It's a great place. It's like a beautiful city. It's one of the most livable cities in the world.
Yeah.
It's I'm super happy that I get to spend a lot of time there. I still travel around a bunch, whether it's with Fedor, whether it's alone or with other people, but I do spend a lot of time there now, and it's just always fun. Fedor always used to tell me that it's like a fun city to go back home to.
Yeah.
It's like nice when you're like traveling for a month and then you go back to Vienna.
And like chill
and it's
out.
chill, I mean, I've been there now for 3 weeks this month, and I've just been chilling and just didn't really do much, but it's just a nice place to do that.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it's very efficient, so like everything works, and it's just easy to do nothing. But it's also easy if you want to do something.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of both.
Yeah, that's really good.
We skipped past a proper significant part of your life as well when you was traveling around Asia with rehab.
Yeah.
Because I've been into dance music for years, and I always knew rehab as like, he was like the king of remixes.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was like 6 or 7 months you was traveling around.
It was like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah,
or was it meant to be that time or something?
Yes. So I guess I can go into that. So like I grew up like in a very musical family. I would say like my mom's a piano teacher.
Yeah.
We had like instruments all over. Like I said, when I was in law school.
My
brother's, it's funny. Yeah, my brother's actually a producer now.
Yeah,
so it's like, it's completely musical now. I think my dad used to play like the clarinet or something when he was younger. So I grew up in like a very musical family, and I started playing the piano when I was, I think, 3 years old or something. And I've tried every single instrument that you can think of. I've tried the piano, guitar, drums, like flute, clarinet, like harmonica, like every single instrument. But I was never really good at any of them.
Yeah.
And so then when I started making videos, I was like, oh, like, like I can still be in the music industry if I make videos in the music industry.
Yeah.
And I still love music. Like music is so, I know it's like everyone says it's like so important to you and all that, but it's like actually true. Like for me, almost always have music running in the background.
Yeah, I'm the
because
same.
it controls my mood like perfectly. So if I want to feel better, if I want to feel more energetic, if I want to just chill, it's like there's music for everything.
Yeah.
So then when I was in Vegas, obviously the music came to me because it's entertainment city, and you know, all the biggest DJs in the world like fly to Vegas every week pretty much for shows. So it was all coming to me. And then I was obviously, from being friends with Mark and being friends with Rich, they like introduced me to a lot of people in the music industry because we were going out so much, and whether it was just for fun or whether it was for like Rich's business or just to like support Mark, we're going to the club a lot. And then I started meeting a lot of people in the music industry. And then I was like, okay, this is like my chance to be a part of the music industry through video. So then I actually met Rehab in New York. At my friends were throwing an esports event, and we met over there, and we kind of like chatted a little bit, and that's kind of like how the conversation started. And then when he was playing EDC Vegas, I think a year later, I happened to be in Vegas and I had a camera, so I was like, I like DM'd him, and then he put me in touch with his management, and they set it up for me to like go party with them at the festival. But also I was like, hey, I'm gonna like film some stuff on my camera and make a video for you. And then I did that, and then I guess they liked it, because a few months later they asked me if I wanted to tour with him around Asia and Europe, and I started doing that. And I mean, I have to say too, at the time I think my goal was to tour with a DJ, because I really wanted to like see what tour life was about, and I wanted to see
I want to experience it.
So
I wanted to
tiring.
see like what it was like, right? So then I did that for like 2 to 3 months or 3 months or something. And it was intense. It was probably like from like a personal and career perspective, it was probably the most like challenging and rewarding thing that I've ever done. And it was so much fun to like have the opportunity to do that, because it was like, wow, like I had a dream and then I just did it, and then I was like, wow, this is great. And then I learned a lot from it, and then I also learned that I don't really want to tour. It's like very exhausting. It's like super intense. You're doing like back shows.
Like, not to put like videographers who tour around the world with DJs to put them down. I think your goals are way past that. I think your end point is way past them videographer thing, like a DJ videographer. I think you've got a lot more in your tank. Like, but you've ticked that off the list, and there's no way you'll ever. Jesus Christ.
It's Jake's phone this time.
Oh, it's you.
Oh, God.
You put the phone down, but not your laptop down.
No. Let me just text this guy. So keep the conversation rolling, Meg.
Yes.
This is the problems with owning a business.
Whilst you're tapping in the background.
As you're tapping in the background. I guess to that point, it's I think it's a fun job to tour with the DJ and film videos. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you experienced it.
And I'm super happy that I experienced it. But for me, like, to kind of go off of what Jake said about like end goal and all that, I used to be someone who had a lot of like goals. I was like, I want to do this, I want to get there, I want to do this to then do that. And I think what I've learned in the last 3 years is that a lot of the things that I've done, I didn't even think about doing them. Some of them I didn't even imagine were possible. And other things just presented themselves in a way that I could have never planned. So now it's like my goal, as like cheesy as it sounds, is to just wake up and be happy every day.
Oh, 100%.
And be able to do what I want to do every single day. And so now that's kind of like how I see it. So for me, it's not like, oh, I don't want to be a DJ videographer, or like I don't want to be a tour videographer. It's not really about that, but it's like I did it and it was like a lot of fun in the moment, but I don't know if like I don't really want to do that all year round. I like now I get to go and film shows with my good friend Emilio every now and then. Justin Milo, if you're watching this, super cool guy.
Because he's really good friends with Garrix as well, isn't he?
So he I mean, they grew up together. I think they became friends when they were like 12 years old. They used to throw parties together, and now they're both obviously super sick DJs. And we ended up meeting in Vegas at the club, obviously, as you would. And now we're really good friends. And now I get to go to a lot of Emilio's shows, and I get to film shows. So it's kind of like, now I love the feeling of, hey, if I want to film, if I want to film in the music industry, I can do that, and I'd love to be without being able to tour nonstop.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not like really about having goals like beyond that. It's more like, it's not really what I'm like super passionate about right now.
Yeah.
It's just different than that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's cool.
I totally agree with that.
No, you've got a really, really interesting story.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what happens in like 10 years time.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I don't even think I used to think like that. I used to be like,
that's
it's 5 years.
It's more like just exciting to see what's going to happen.
To think what could happen.
Like these last 3 years, honestly, feel like they could have been 50 years sometimes.
Yeah.
When I look back and I see a lot of the things that I've done and I've got to experience, I'm like, whoa, like that's insane. But I think it's also really important and that's why I like the fact that I don't really set that many goals now, because think about if these last 3 years summed up my life goals, then it's like, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, now I did all that. Like, now what do I do?
Now? Yeah.
Because it comes and goes. Like, opportunities come, opportunities go, and you go through like a flow of interests and passions, and it's okay. I think it's okay to just change your mind about things every now and then.
See, the thing is, for me, I don't really have many like long-term goals. I just do daily goals. I just kind of like, right, this is what I need to get done in the day. That's it.
Yeah.
Next, and then on the night before, I'll write my goals for the next day, and that's how I've been doing. And I feel more efficient doing that as well. I get more productive, and it's like that's sometimes why I have to stay up till late, because if I've got like a few more things I need to do, I'm like, let's get this done. Then it's done. Then it's like a little thing that I've like set for myself on my calendar every day. There's like little to-do lists and goals that I need to achieve. But yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. Like for us with the business, we might plan for things and we might think, right, well, this is what we want to do this year. But like what you've had is like opportunities that present themselves that you were never expecting, or like they turned out in a way that you weren't expecting, and it's just, you just take it as it comes. And that is just like in our minds as well is what you should be doing. Like you shouldn't think, oh, but it's not working out this way. So it's like, well, is it not working out at all and stuff like that? It's like you just take it as it comes. You just do it. Yeah. And I think that's really important to do, definitely. Not to force things.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of things change from time to time, and I think for over the last 3 years, what I've learned is to like really be open to things changing, and just always like being open to things presenting themselves at random times, because I could have tried to plan a lot of the things that I've done, and it probably wouldn't have worked out the way it worked out, because things just come at random times.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why like I really followed like Remco's advice of just saying yes to things. Yeah. It's like when I wanted, you have to think I went from law school, which was like very structured, very like straight line, to then this unknown world of I don't really know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm good at. It's like figuring out all these things from scratch. Yeah. And it was so important to just be in a position to say yes to things. Yeah, because definitely. It's easier said than done to just say yes, because a lot of these things required, travel. It required
a lot of energy as
well. A lot of energy, like when someone said, hey, do you want to come to Brazil and film this event? It's like easier said than done to just say yes to it. Yeah. You have to be in a position to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's like what I try. That's why I value like just being flexible and just being open to things coming and going, because that's just what has been happening. It just comes and goes, and you have to constantly make decisions. And then, there is a downside to opportunities as well. It's like when things come and there's clashes and there's priorities, and then you have to like go through that process anyways of, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. Like which one's better? Like, because they're always like good opportunities. Like which one do I do? Which one? And I think it's just like simplifying the process of making the decision down to what feels right and like what do I want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
And less about like this bigger picture of like, okay, I'm gonna like go to the club so then I can meet people in the music industry, and then I can become friends with them, and then I can film them, and then I can. It's like, no, it's like I just want to go to the club because it's fun. Yeah. And I just want to meet people because that's what I enjoy doing. Exactly. It's like meeting new people and like connecting others is like my biggest passion. Yeah. So it's like I'm just gonna do that, and then what comes out of it, like I don't really think about that. Yeah. Like a lot of the times, and same thing with like a lot of the DJs that I filmed. A lot of the times, like I don't even it's not like a job for me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like I don't even want to get paid. Like a lot of times I just want to do it for fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have to go through the process of, for me and for them too, of like, okay, like it's like a hiring process and it's like, okay, I'll only do it if it's this amount of money, or if it's like, no, if it feels right, I'm just going to do it regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm happy to say that a lot of like my favorite videos that I filmed, a lot of the experiences that I've been a part of, it wasn't for work. It was just for fun.
Yeah.
And it was just out of like pure enjoyment. And that's like very good for me as well, because then it puts me in a position of being able to say no as well when it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So it's like when it doesn't feel right, it's like no. When it feels right, it's a yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's less,
very important.
It's very simple at the core of it.
Yeah, of course it is. It's good. It's a good mindset to have.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't know what we've captured and what we've not in the video. This is the problem. When we do longer podcasts, it's difficult to see. Like, because I'm almost like I'm in the conversation. I'm like, right, is that one rolling? Is that one rolling? I think we've managed to capture everything.
Yeah,
but
I mean, whatever like we end up like having at the end of it, I think it's just gonna be fun no matter what. And like
that is the main reason why we do it. Because like, do you not feel like it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hope this isn't like a wrap up and you're like trying to end this podcast because I'm gonna like jump into another topic. It's like we're gonna keep rolling until the lights like go off. I'm ready to go.
I think because we're coming up to about an hour now.
Oh wow!
So I think
only 3 hours to go.
I think
it doesn't feel like it because you don't believe in time.
What's this time you're talking about? It's a figment of your imagination.
Meg, does Jake believe in time?
No, he doesn't.
You don't believe in time. You've never believed in time. You're the guy who's like, oh, I'm 2 minutes away, and then it's like 15 minutes later, and you're like, oh, I'm 2 minutes away. I was like. And you just learn it's not.
It's just the thing, isn't it? 2 minutes away. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the reason why we do it, because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Our dad's in the background. What's up, Dad? You want to come say hello?
I think we need to wrap this up as well. Look at this guy.
Dad, you want to come say hello?
Come in here a sec, Dad.
Coming in for a brew.
Right. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up. I think.
Are we gonna wrap it up?
I think we're gonna have to wrap this one up because he's mired than us. But yeah. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Put the Phone Down. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow us on Spotify.
All over.
Got to get all the call to actions in iTunes. Yeah. Go and follow Jonah on Instagram @Jonah. That's another reason we need to get you on again. I think that's what
we can do it again tomorrow. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah, but I just want to say thank you for this. Was fun. This was my first live podcast because the other one that I've done was with Joey.
It's not as professional as we wanted it to be, but again, it's authentic.
I think it's great.
We've always said that about the podcast is like we love how informal it is. So having like even just having our friends on and just telling your story and stuff. That's one of my favourite things about doing it. It's not formal. It's nice. It's
and it's fun and it's like a good like we always say like we have these conversations. We're like, oh, we should have filmed that. We should have done that, and now we actually did. So
exactly.
Awesome.
I'm glad. That was great. That was weak. That was weak connection.
Yeah, that was really weak.
That's what I'm talking about, Meg. You got it in you? Oh.
High five, Meg. Well done.
All right.
Right. Later. See you on the next one.
Peace.
Do we need a thumbnail or what? What do we need to do for a thumbnail?
We do actually. My ears.
My ears hurt.